Hello, welcome to Old Nerd Reads' Marvel Comics in Order. This is episode 76. This time I read Avengers 154. This is the second issue of the Avengers in my Marvel Comics collection. Back in Old Nerd Reads' Marvel Comics in Order episode 64, I think, I read the first issue that I have, which was the prior issue to this, which continued into the Avengers Annual of 1976. I believe it was Annual 6. This issue does the same. This issue, though, is going to continue into a title called Supervillain Team Up. But the story starts here. And actually, a lot of the things that happen in this issue started in the issue before, started in the annual before this. This pretty much picks up right after the annual leaves off. This copy is in real nice shape. I'd give this a very fine anyway. It's got some staining here, some wrinkles in the corners. Nothing terrible, though. It's a very nice copy for being almost 50 years old. Now here we have George Perez on pencils again. Jerry Conway's been the writer-editor for the annual and the last two issues. Pablo Marcos inking George Perez. This issue to me stood out for George Perez's artwork. His detail really comes out with Pablo Marcos doing the inks. Pablo Marcos doesn't have quite as liberal an inking hand as other inkers who've worked with George on Fantastic Four and a few of the other places that we've seen him before this. There's a lot more detail. And I don't know if that's George Perez getting better. It's probably a combination of him improving and Pablo Marcos on inks. The line work is a lot finer, and there's a lot more finer details in the artwork. And this is starting to look like the George Perez that most people would recognize. This is definitely starting to look like what you would see when you read the Teen Titans in the early 80s. Just a few years after this, he moved to that title. But this story is about... So we start off with the Serpent Crown getting tossed into the Pacific Ocean by the Vision. There was... The last couple issues were about different people, especially the Living Laser, fighting over the Serpent Crown. And the Avengers finally won, and the Vision is tossing it to the bottom of the sea, which, of course, we know it's not going to last if it's down there. Somebody's going to find it, and more trouble will ensue later on. And indeed it does, but that's further down the road. But while he's out there over the ocean, he's attacked by some Atlanteans. Back here, Wanda at the Avengers Mansion. Oh, let's not forget, Wonder Man is back. The Wizard is back, although he had a heart attack during the annual, so they're taking him to the hospital. Wanda is at the Avengers Mansion by herself. A ship shows up. Jarvis wants to protect her, and she basically yells at him, tells him not to. She can do it herself. Like kind of having a temper tantrum about him trying to help her. But out of this ship emerges Triton of the Inhumans. And he wants to talk to the Avengers. It's a big emergency. And here we go back to the Vision story. He's been captured by these Atlanteans. And we find out a little bit more about their dastardly plan. It's a Tuma. He is going to take over rule of the Atlanteans from the Submariner. He's going to enslave the surface world and rule the oceans. And he's going to trick the Avengers. Well, he's going to capture the Avengers and force them to fight the Submariner for him so that he can take over everywhere else while the Submariner's busy. Either the Avengers will get killed by the Submariner or the Avengers will kill the Submariner. Either way, Atuma wins. Back here, though, we realize that this is not Triton at all because he asks about Quicksilver, Wanda's brother, Quicksilver. And Quicksilver has been with the Inhumans for several years. He married Crystal of the Inhumans. So if Triton was really Triton, he would know that. And that tips off Wanda. She releases a hex spell, and we find out that this is Tyrak the Treacherous, one of Atuma's people, sent in to capture the Avengers. Well, now he starts fighting the Scarlet Witch, who was wounded last issue. She was shot in the arm trying to get the Serpent Crown. Here's Jarvis, after getting yelled at by the Scarlet Witch a few pages ago to not help her because she can handle it alone. Well, he comes to try and help her because Tyrak's got her against the ropes. He gets knocked out for it. And she gets knocked out for it. He's got some gas in his armor he sprays her with. But the Avengers show up right at the last minute. But unfortunately, the Avengers, even though it's their A team, Iron Man and Cap, they can't beat him. They can't beat Tyrak. Tyrak crunches Iron Man's chest plate and basically shuts down the Iron Man armor. Wasp and the Yellow Jacket, of course, are no match for him. He gasses them. Crunch. Extra little bug spray just to make sure. Then Cap attacks. But unfortunately, even though Cap knocks him down and probably could have won a one-on-one fight with him, it looks like, Tyrak knocks the wall on him. The Beast, he knows that he can't win, so he jumps out a window and leaves. But that's our cliffhanger. Atuma's men, Tyrak, gather up the unconscious Avengers and take them back to Atuma to enact his diabolical plan. And here we find out that the story is continued in Supervillain Team Up number 9, which will be the next Old Nerd video. So stay tuned for that. But this is a fun story. Lots of action, lots of Avengers interpersonal drama, which is part of what makes the title so cool. You can really tell that they're trying to they're making a push in 1976 to make the Marvel Universe a cohesive thing with all these crossovers, all these multi-issue story arcs that have been going on over 1976 between Marvel Team Up having several issue-long story arcs, between Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man getting released, and all of the Spider-Man titles sharing the storylines. This title continued into the annual of that year. Now it's going to continue into another title. So you can tell Marvel's really pushing to have this cohesive Marvel universe at this point, which is cool, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to read my Marvel Comics in release date order, is because I wanted to see the genesis of this. One other thing I wanted to mention was this is another Jack Kirby cover, and Al Milgrom is the inker on this, and I think Al Milgrom is a perfect inker for Jack Kirby. If it isn't Joe Sinnott, like, Jack Kirby is really does a really good job, because Alan Milgrom has a very similar, like, very heavy ink style when he does his artwork. His lines are he has a lot of thick black lines in his art, and that seems to work real well on Kirby's artwork. Anyway, that's it for this time. If anybody's got anything to add, please comment it down below. Stick around for more of these Old Nerd Reads His Marvel Comics in Order videos as I go through my collection, reading them in release date order and putting out a video for each issue. I also do a little bit of movie, DVD reviews, physical media type stuff. So stick around for that. If it sounds good, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.